Hello, and welcome to the Black Massage Therapist. I'm your host, Pauline, the founder of Pendulum Massage of London, and also this podcast. And in today's podcast, we're going to look at how stress shows up in the body. I don't know why, but that one seems like a tongue twister to me today. So, how stress shows up in the body. And it's an important one because stress in city life for marginalised communities is a big thing. And there's the weathering hypotheses that's going around from Dr. Arlene Geronimus's book. And it does fit in really well. And it also fits into why massage is one of those things that can help to counter the effects of stress on the body, helping us to learn about ways to relax, new ways to see life so that we can try and filter out the negative aspects of urban living. So before we even begin, I'd like us to take a moment to really settle into the body. So I want you to think about where you're sitting, where you are. So say, for example, you're driving, maybe a few deep breaths would be the amount you can do. If you are in a more safe space where you are not hurtling at vectors towards other people, so if you're at home and just sitting, or if you're in the office on your break, if you're on public transport and not worried about missing your stop, there are certain things we can do. So say, for example, how's your jaw? How's your jaw? Is it relaxed? How's your tongue? Can you raise your tongue up to the roof of your mouth and relax the jawline? And then just let your tongue relax in whatever position it wants to be in. How are your shoulders? Roll your shoulders, and you can feel the different angles your shoulders make, the way the upper bones of your shoulders create a nice rolling sensation forwards and back, as maybe they're clicking, maybe they're not. But when you allow your shoulders to relax down, allow the weight of gravity to just take your shoulders. And the breath, what happens when you breathe in nice and deep and just let it go. And wherever you're sitting, if you are sitting, allow gravity to just let your body just settle. With that breath and the relaxed jawline and those dropped shoulders and the head floating off into space. Feels good, doesn't it? When we remember that we are more than the thoughts in our head. And when we remember that the thoughts in our head can turn inwards and actually instruct our body to relax. And we need to keep remembering that because life is too busy. Life is too hectic. Life can be too stressful. And in city living, where this hypothesis of weathering really is becoming a feature that people are beginning to believe in, we find ourselves surrounded by stressful factors that we need to balance our efforts against. And our efforts we balance against stress are all internal, to do with diet, habits, way we breathe, way we exercise, way we move, and the way that we use our thoughts to counter these stresses in our lives. But also how we gather together as community in order to counter these stresses of life, because we can't do anything if we're not in community. On our own, we're just islands, but together we are whole. So today we're going to gently look at how massage can really help with the effects of stress, but also the other things we do in our lives. How we show up for our bodies and how we release our tensions. Okay, the weathering hypothesis. What it suggests is that when we are repeatedly exposed to stress, social, economic, and environmental stresses, these factors wear down our bodies. So it's not seen as a dramatic moment, but it's seen as an accumulation of stressors. What this means is that there is a earlier onset of chronic issues and diseases that may affect us. And what do we mean by that? Well, it means that we age faster and earlier because of them. So somebody who is in their natural habitat, somebody who is perfectly poised in their community, who always feel a sense of reinforcement of that sense of community when they look at the TV, when they listen to the radio, when they listen to podcasts, when they go to the supermarket, the vegetables that are grown in the fields around them, the food that is available to them, the exercise opportunities and the life that is available to them. All of these factors mean that certain communities have less stressors and less opportunity for weathering to take hold than other communities. Some other communities, life is different. Life is stressful in different sorts of ways. For example, in their environment, they may not have as many opportunities to see foods that really will feed and nourish them. They may have hours of work that are longer and more sporadic. Work may be something that may not be guaranteed. So say, for example, they may have to be employed in a gig economy, and going from place to place in a gig economy is stressful. Finding opportunities to eat healthy food may be stressful. Finding opportunities for meaningful movement and meaningful community life may be difficult, and in that, stresses will occur, and these can create earlier opportunities for the body to age than others. Because of all these factors, sometimes there's fatigue, and fatigue is another thing that slows down opportunities to heal and to just recuperate and restore. And with that, also slowed recovery. So slowing recovery is another thing. And when recovery is slowed, it's fatiguing. You have an injury, you can't let it rest because you've got to be going on with the next gig. Again, fatiguing. So what happens when there's fatigue is that there's a slower recovery, which in itself means that there's a slower a slower opportunity of healing. And when this happens, obviously, you're going to age faster. So it's really important that getting a handle on understanding what other people find really straightforward because of the communities they are in, others do not. I've seen people who are incredibly, incredibly focused on their healing. It's a really, I find this quite emotional actually, but it is a really, it's heartwarming to see people who create opportunities for healing for their community. And for example, last week I was with Black Girls Hike. I was at their retreat and it was wonderful. It was a really life-affirming space to be in because it was an opportunity for me to meet. It was a team retreat for board members and volunteers, and it was a really beautiful opportunity to see what it takes for a community like that to offer life-enhancing wellness for Black women in the UK. Simple as that. Opportunities that are affordable, that are for every ability, and they are life-affirming opportunities. So in itself, an organisation like Black Girls Hike, where I did the massage that weekend, actually showed me what it takes to see a community in cahoots together, producing beautiful opportunities for healing. And this, to me, is a community that deals with opposing the effects of weathering by the use of nature and walking and bringing individuals together. At that time, I was in Matlock, and in Matlock, it was a really beautiful space. One could stroll around the gardens, one could take a bath in one's own time, and then take part in community activities within the Black Girl Hike retreat. Coming back to London, in comparison, was a different kettle of fish already. So city life and the body, that's one thing we've got to talk about here. City life in the body. In the city, there's a lot of noise, isn't there? Life gets lived. There are crowds of people, sometimes in community, but mainly we're all strangers until we find a space where we feel safe enough to communicate with others. But generally, we're all different sorts of people with lots of different opinions. What can we do but just get on with life? In the city as well, there's the commute where we're pushed closer and closer to other people. People we don't really know, but we all have the same objective of getting from place A to place B with different levels of urgency. Sometimes when we travel and commute, it's a leisurely thing because we've got loads of time. Other factors can affect our commute. Say, for example, I don't know, we're late, the train is late, something happens along the line, we have to take a detour, the stress of needing the loo or not needing the loo. Whether we're travelling with others, sometimes we've got to meet deadlines, and it's tough. The time pressures of life in the city are also always a pressing point. In addition to that, there's the financial strictures, the financial pressures of living in a city where prices are inflated, pricing is inflated, rents or mortgages to be paid, bills to be paid, membership, subscriptions, all of that stuff, getting from A to B, and the cost of getting from A to B. And city life takes its toll because when we're living in the city, we're on alert. So a sense of alertness, all of those things together create a sense that we need to be on point all the time. And when you're that alert, sometimes you can be hyper alert. And this can be stressful in itself. Being hyper alert means we're reacting to things at breakneck speed. And sometimes we just need to breathe and slow that down. So it's important when we're on that. Your body knows things are important, and the body believes that it needs to be alert and to be ready. And what that means is your breathing may be changing so that you can move more quickly away from a danger. And in this sense of alertness, the adrenaline is there. The adrenaline creates a heightened experience of life. And unfortunately, that stress, when it's on, switched on repeatedly and off repeatedly, is not good for health. The adaptations we make for living in the city, I believe, are not sustainable. But the thing is that these slow stresses, which create heightened experiences of existence, switched on all the time, create the perfect conditions for weathering. So we're in this existence where things are pretty heightened, and we can do things about that. There are ways we can work around stress that can help us. Breathwork and meditation is one of the things that is really, really fantastic for dealing with stress. And some people use breathwork in different sorts of ways. So, for example, breathwork in mindfulness is beautiful. When we go to a class, an exercise class, and we remember when we put in an effort for something, we can breathe with that effort in order to make that effort meaningful. So when we're picking up weights, when we are running, when we're walking in nature or at the gym, on the treadmill, we can breathe in a way that really concentrates our thoughts and efforts towards wellness. And we can use breathing as well in meditation and mindfulness, so that every moment and every breath is an opportunity to relax. So we breathe in goodness and we breathe out the work, we breathe out the negativity, we breathe out. Relaxation comes with the breath, because on the out breath, as my mantra is, it's an opportunity to relax. Massage can help as well, because it's an opportunity for the nervous system to pause. We think about the nervous system as the sympathetic nervous system that deals with all of the things that we need to do in our lives. But the parasympathetic nervous system is all about rest and digest, like I mentioned in the last episode as well. And when massage invokes the parasympathetic nervous system, it is really an opportunity to relax, to rest and digest. And that's why some people fall asleep on the massage table, like I mentioned in the last episode, but also why the belly starts to grumble, why our breathing deepens. These beautiful things are what we invoke through massage. We encourage the body out of fight, flight, freeze, and fawn and into rest and digest. When we have a massage, our muscles get feedback, and the feedback our muscles get is that, wow, was that muscle tight? Was I clenching that jaw? Oh, my back is spasming. So there are lots of things that occur during a massage that draw our attention back to this. And what I'm always amazed by is the conversation that can be had between our muscles and our brain and our thoughts in our brain at that time. And if we can carry that knowingness back into our everyday lives, it's an amazing thing, because then we can remember, you know what? When I get stressed, my shoulders go up. I remember that because on the massage table, my shoulders are up and they were encouraged to go down and relax. And in that moment, I remembered and took that knowledge with me to the following day. Roll those shoulders, because on the table you remembered. So outside, you take that memory with you and roll your shoulders and relax those shoulders. This is, I suppose, a form of somatics in itself. And people, they pay thousands of pounds to learn about somatics. But really, the memory should be invoked anytime you remember to breathe in, breathe out, and let those muscles relax. Yeah, bringing back awareness into the everyday is so important, and creating a moment where you're not producing, you're not performing, you're not working for somebody else. You need to create those moments in your life. So when you have massage regularly, it gives you a moment to remember what your body has always known, which is you have the right to relax, and you need to pick your moment to relax. You may need those massage moments to remember, but you take those moments away with you when you leave the treatment room and when you enter everyday life. People that come for massage regularly, as a routine, maybe every 2 months, possibly even every 3 months, but some every month, when they come regularly, they get these constant reminders. And when they build on those reminders, they build in an opportunity for relaxation that they can take out into the world with them. And then when the habits improve and they decide, you know what, I need to do something more, maybe go for a hike, maybe enjoy nature, maybe go for a swim, maybe commune with my community. All of these tiny micro moments of relaxation work against weathering. Where does massage come in? Well, massage isn't a luxury. It's a structured opportunity for the nervous system to pause, and I love that. What massage does is it encourages the body out of fight and flight, freeze and fawn, and it moves the body into rest and digest. Yep, where you fall asleep on the table, where you may hear your belly rumbling, where your muscles totally give up the fight and actually relax, and where your breathing just settles into something really organized, slow and relaxed. Bringing back awareness to areas you stopped thinking were aware. So say, for example, you have shoulders that are up here. You realize your shoulders can relax back down. And you realize that when you're relaxing, it's a good thing and you can breathe. The important thing is you take that knowledge away with you, and that is wonderful. And you create a moment where you're not performing, you're not presenting, you're not producing, and you're not pushing. This is incredibly important, because in that moment you realize that this is something that you can take away with you. The body begins to remember what ease is, and the wonderful thing is that you learn how to relax out there. When you're stressed and in a stressful environment, you watch for the signals in yourself and you think to yourself, wow, in this moment, I'm going to try my best to just let that stressful feeling go. So between sessions, not just that hour, things change. And it's important to recognize that and understand that. So a reflection for you might be to ask yourself, when was the last time that my body really felt relaxed and sorted? When's the last time I had an opportunity to notice when things were happening and reverse them? And when was the last time that I felt supported, not rushed, and recognized and relaxed? And what would it like to have that as something regular in your life as opposed to sporadically and occasionally? I'll have to ask you and others, has stress for you been building up over time? And is it something that you have noticed and thought, I'd love to do something about that? For some people, massage takes the edge off, and they'll use it as an opportunity to defragment and relax after maybe a huge project, some happening or some event that occurs in their lives. For other people, massage is something that they will do seasonally as an opportunity to just draw attention to life and how it moves through the year. For others, it's an reoccurring monthly event that they want in their life to help with their wellness and the progress that they are making. Whatever massage is for you, it is an opportunity to reflect, replenish, restore and nurture. So if that's something that you would like in your life, Pendulum Massage is here. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Black Massage Therapist. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it. Give me a 5-star review. I love them. And also, come back and listen to the next one in a couple of weeks. Don't forget, opportunities for community are a great way to, get rid of that stress and counteract the effects of weathering. It's so important. It's so important. So, I'm out of here. Have a great week ahead. Bye.